Good morning. It's Monday, the 6th. Back to the grind. I'm so excited about it. I'm just like feeling such a huge relief because the last few weeks John has been home from work, which really cuts into my production. And it's not that he makes it difficult, it's just that when he's at home, it puts me into this state of mind where I feel like we're just chilling. Like it's a weekend, we can just relax and blah blah blah, it's holidays. Whereas like between Christmas and New Year's, I was planning to just function as normal, but it's just really, really hard when you're in that calm, chill headspace, you know? I also just haven't really done my due diligence in keeping up with what I should be doing, because one of the things that they talk about a lot, artists I mean, on YouTube, is that when you're in the middle of something, you should always be looking ahead and having the next thing planned and ready to go. You should always be looking for new work, and I don't really do that. And to be honest, I don't really know exactly how to find that work in the first place, so it's a big huge learning curve for me. And because we don't have like, you know, Illustrator job postings here, like it's not a thing, so I'm not really sure how to deal with that. Kind of excited but also hesitant to go back to the flea market. I'll talk about that in a second. I'll move my camera so that you're not just staring at my desk, because I'm slowly unpacking from the one downtown. I realized I had to dismantle my space over a couple of trips, because with the addition of that table, I didn't think it was going to be physically possible. So I have all my books back. So a lot of these have not even been listed yet, so I'll probably have to do that. I only have one calendar left, so if you want a calendar, that's gonna be it. And these are all the sparkly cards that I have left, these decks, which is interesting. I have 7 here, and I think I have one other, because my Etsy inventory said I had 12, so I went from so I have 7, maybe 8. I either haven't been updating my Etsy at all, or some are missing, and that's another thing I kind of want to just talk about. And I finished this. You probably will have seen the video, and I've never been so excited to have finished an art journal. This one. The only last 2 pages is, I have a couple pages left I didn't use, but that's because they're literally just words. Because this written journal from 2004 was something that I was doing during NaNoWriMo, because I didn't have any creative ideas, and so I decided just to keep a journal. And so one of the things I did to take up space was to list all the things that were nearby me, things that I don't like have anymore. And I thought, like, I didn't want to like make some stupid found poem with those just a list of words, so I decided to keep these for like art prompts or something like that. That would be a useful thing to use with it. Tomorrow I'm going to go and do my final unpack of the Pacific Arts Market. My experience there has been pretty like standard, I think. A lot of people are leaving this month, I think, because it's January. If it was like a space to work in, like, you probably wouldn't be able to rent a studio space in Vancouver for that much. So it's like not really that outrageous or anything, but I mean, like, even at the flea market, I definitely would spend $100 a month to show there. It's just a flea market. So 3 times that much for an actual art space in a nice building in a nice environment with other artists there. Not really that obscene or anything. The problem is I don't make enough money to cover that. That's the only reason why I'm leaving. And I wouldn't mind trying it again, but I find that in showing artwork in galleries and stuff, it's really typical for me to do poorly, mostly because I don't have a local audience and I don't have anyone to invite there. And I have to credit, I think, the Raffi Was Here channel on YouTube, and obviously those of you who have directed me there. I think that channel like single-handedly has changed so much about my outlook on this whole thing. It has normalized this experience in a serious way, in that I don't take it so personally anymore. I was at this Pacific Arts Market, and it was at the end of the holiday shopping period. I think, again, like November was really good for me, and I was just at the flea market. December was a total, like, a total bomb. But, you know, Raffi and Klee have made that feel so normal and to be expected, so I'm not particularly distraught by it. I'm not really downtrodden. I'm also getting really used to not making money and being, like, okay with it. I don't think that that's a good thing. Like, I still feel pretty guilty, but I don't feel quite as panicked as I did before, and I think that makes a huge difference. Much to, you know, the chagrin of my family, I'm sure. But anyway, all that I am aware of is I saw somebody buy a calendar, and I got a note from somebody who bought a print. So that's like $30 that I could personally, like, account for. The organizer gave me $38 yesterday, but that doesn't make any sense because there's no combination of objects on my table that would add up to $38. So I don't know if they gave me the wrong account, and the problem is I don't even have any receipts or like proof correspondence as to what's been selling or not, so I can't even go up to them and say you owe me this, or I owe you that, or whatever, because I don't know. And that's kind of the one thing that I gotta say about this experience at that particular market, is that it's very hands-off. Like, it's very hands-off. I take my stuff there and I leave it there for a month, and I go to all the events and tell people about them, and then that's the extent of my involvement at that market, which seems really great for like an artist who's really, really busy. That would be really great. It would free up time to do other things. It's almost like a passive income kind of situation, and that's great. I don't particularly like that. I was doing the flea market every Sunday, and I really liked being there. I like seeing people interact with things and seeing what things were working, what things weren't working. I liked knowing what was selling. I liked knowing how much I was getting paid for the things that I was selling. But most of all, I liked that I have all of my stock with me at all times. Doing like the hands-off market was really disconcerting because I had all my calendars there, I had all of my prints there, I had original pieces of art, I had all of these books there. So if I sold one of these online and I'd have to go all the way downtown to get it, which is $10 in bus fees. So by the time I packed this up and sent it, I would no longer be making any money on it. And I was kind of stressed out not knowing if something was available. I promised to hold a calendar for somebody, and I thought, well, what if I get there and there's no calendars left? Like, I didn't like not knowing what was going on, and I certainly don't particularly like being given petty cash and not knowing if it's correct. Just like, I decided just to leave only the prints for the last day and just spreading them out on the table. I still wasn't able to like display each print separately. It was just, I maybe have gotten too many, and I think like the reason why I got so many is because I thought I would do better, not just at this market but at the flea market. At the flea market I was charging everything kind of like half price, to be honest, because of the environment, and there was so much pressure from other vendors to be like, no one buys anything more than $5 here, and you have to have cheap prices, and it has to be different, and blah blah blah. And I followed their advice, and I tried to adjust to my surroundings, and you know what? I'm not really selling enough objects to pay for the table even. So I don't think this year I'm going to sell anything at a lower price at the flea market. Everything is just going to be as it is, unless somebody wants to talk to me. Feel free to like, haggle, I don't mind. Most of my things do have some space to haggle, but like, I'm going to start bringing all of my expensive originals to show at the market, and people are not going to buy them, and vendors will probably make fun of me, but I want people to actually see what I'm capable of. I don't want to be seen as this cheap flea market artist who sells prints at $5 or something like that. Like I don't want that, and I think like having only cheap stuff there gave people like the wrong idea, because like in November I got a couple of commissions, but there were a lot of people who were talking about commissions and never came back, and I think a lot of that was because I was just like, okay, well, go to my website, all my prices are on there, and then blah blah blah, because I didn't feel confident enough to talk about my prices, and to see, like, I'd rather people have their reaction away from me so that I don't have to see it. But when you present your art with really low prices, like print-wise, they don't have any frame of reference as to what an original would cost, and so that takes them by surprise. So if I have all my originals there, and they see that original is like $200, suddenly a $10 print doesn't seem so expensive. So I'm going to try that, and I'm going to change my display a little bit so that I can actually display originals in a way that isn't so dumpy. I was thinking of making like a, because you know, like I have my PVC tube display. It's getting kind of ratty, and I'm thinking of making it a little bit more sturdy, but also building like a little sock to go over it so that it's not like a bunch of cheap flimsy tubes, that it's actually just a wall. And then because I feel really weird about displaying originals on a string. It's a little weird to me. On one of these pages I was messing with, I saw this bird doodle. I don't really remember why I drew a bird like this. I think I just thought it was funny. He made me laugh, so I think I might actually do something with that. But yeah, here are some things that I changed in here to make it more complete. But yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna film. I mean, you obviously know by now, but it's so like rainy and crappy outside. Am I really gonna go outside and film a foot through there? I don't know. Aw, he's so cute. I'm trying to make something of this funny sketch thing, drawing, whatever I did. And I was trying to practice like how would I make a painting out of that. And I was having difficulty trying to figure out how to like get the same dynamic pose. And I think it has more to do with like the angle at which his leg comes up. Like over here he's leaning back far because his knee comes above his head. And I don't quite capture it there. And so I'm trying to like fit him into a paper like this without losing his body as a focus point. And I think this is going okay. I really wish I could stay and work on this more, but like I'm procrastinating leaving to unpack the rest of my booth, and I'm really not looking forward to it because it is raining really hard right now. Okay, not really hard, but it's raining and it's probably windy and unpleasant, and I have to travel like an hour
But it is nice to like leave the house and feel like I am being called as an artist to do something outside the house. Oh my god! I spent a whole 4 hours yesterday unpacking that market table, and so now it's the next day. Now I finally get to work on this bird. I find that the anticipation of working on something is so much more exciting than finishing that something or planning that something or filming. I kind of hate filming my stuff. I find it really distracting, especially since like the camera sometimes just stops randomly and doesn't tell me until like 10-15 seconds later. I'm just like all energetic because one, I just like drank a coffee and it's making my heart pound like crazy. But also like I don't think you quite understand, like I don't think you quite understand just how excited I am to finish this thing. I just don't know what to do from here. Like I really love this thing. I would love, if the poetry was better, I would love to publish something like this. And I know I wasn't gonna make a zine because what would I do with it? It's expensive to print books in full color and nobody wants them, but like I almost kind of want to make a few, especially if I decide that I'm gonna try to get into like VanCaf or something, except like that's a comic arts festival and I'm not a comic artist. I don't know if like everyone who tables as an artist there has to be a comic artist. I have purchased things that were not comics there, so maybe that's not a requirement. But I have two like other little zines. Do zines count? I don't know. I feel like I'm not true to the like optimal person. I'm literally just making up words as I go along here, but like I don't think that I would fit in there, but at the same time, like I also do feel like I'd fit in there, so I don't know. Maybe there's a way to like hand make like 3 copies or something, because I just love it so much. And I don't know if I love it so much because it's so personal and so meaningful to me and it took me so long and it's done and it's like a complete thing, not just like a random art journal that I just like rushed to fill. Like it's an actual piece of art to me, so maybe that's why I like it so much. But I'm just like editing and about to upload the video, so I guess I'll find out if I'm just alone in this. I don't know if it's like a piece of crap or just like whatever else I do. I don't know. I'll just have to find out what's going on there. I don't know. Oh, what a mess. I love how these birds just naturally look like they have dilated pupils. Because if you're gonna have a bird doing this wacky power move, he should probably have crazed dilated pupils and a butthole. I was gonna like use our old blackout curtains that came with the apartment that we like replaced because they were ugly. But I pulled this one out and it's not even the same curtain. I don't remember this at all. I don't know if I want to like destroy it though. I was originally just going to sew it intact so that I can pull the stitches out later when I want to put them back on the window if we move out. But these are kind of heavy. Look at these curtain holders too. They were just on here the whole time. I could have used these to hang my stuff. That's great. And so similar to the way I had my prints on the front of my table, I was gonna like put safety pins in so that I can hang. I'm gonna hang matted originals this time. I know that's kind of like
a waste, because I'm not going to sell originals at any market, pretty much. Like, no one makes that kind of decision in a day. But I also feel like I'm doing my art a disservice by not showing the actual pieces wherever I am. Like, if I'm just showing the prints, people are pretty wowed by it. But think of like how much more wowed you would be if the actual originals were there. So you can see like all the shiny parts. You can see the parts that are 3D, because my prints don't have any 3D elements in them at all, so that's extra special. I'd have to try to make sure that I'm hanging the originals that have prints, although I don't have all of the originals anymore, but kind of like interested in trying out this idea of being the most expensive person at the flea market and see where that gets me. Like, prints are an incredible deal. I know they're harder to like sell because it is just like a thing. You can't really use it. I mean, I would love to do more practical stuff, like offer things you can wear. Because even if I like were to buy some notebooks off of Redbubble or something, I'm pretty sure they're still like $15 a pop. Even for me, even though I'm an artist, why would they buy it for me? Why not buy it directly from Redbubble, right? So like, what's the point of getting merch done? I don't know, but prints I can do. I'm making a little sketchbook thing with that manila paper pad that I had under the couch for a while. Just love the feeling of it. Some wasn't cut right, so I made it kind of fun shapes. Otherwise, I'm super not motivated to do anything these days. I don't really have anything that I have to do, so it's hard to do anything. I know when it's like really slow, I'm supposed to be using this time to like improve myself, and it's just like, I just don't feel like it. I'm so tired. I was for Patreon we're doing water, and I don't know if this looks like a leaf with water droplets on it, but that's kind of what I was going for. I don't know if that's what that is, but the green is nice.